Hello students, welcome back to Mr. Laver's Computing Classroom. Okay, so in this video we're going to continue learning about Excel, and we've got an awful lot more that we can learn, so let's get started. We're going to open up Excel, and we're going to start with a new blank workbook, and this time we're going to save it, and we're going to call this one Fruit Sales. Make sure we've got Excel workbook as our type, and then save, and back to our worksheet, which is here. And so we'll just get straight on and start. I want you to go to cell A4 and type the word apples, and then we'll push enter to take us to A5. Oranges, enter. Pears, enter. Oops. Bananas, and finally nectarines. Okay, that's looking good. Now our nectarines is a little bit wide, so we're going to double click up here to make it the right width, and using our keyboard, I want you to select all of those labels there. Going to use the keyboard Control B to make them all bold, and that's good. Right, now across the top here we're going to write January, February, March, or I'm not putting the full months in, and we need to continue that right through to June. Now there's actually an easier way, and you may have remembered that I said in the last video that Excel has a lot of ways that can help you do your work, and one of the ways is what we call autofill. And what we can do now is, after I write January in that first column B3, if I hold the cursor, using my mouse, hold the cursor over the bottom right corner, you'll see there's a little square box, and when I put my cursor over that, the cursor changes to that plus button. And now what I need to do is, using my left mouse button, I can just drag across the columns, and you will see that there's a little hint coming up telling you what's going to happen. And I want you to go right through to June, and if we do that, you will see that that Excel automatically puts those months in for us. So that's a really good, handy shortcut. Now they're already selected, so we'll just go Control B to make them all bold. And I also want to make these a shaded background with a fill colour, and so I'm just going to select that grey colour there, and that should look like that. Okay, right, so now we need to get some numbers in here. So we've got our labels in up the top, we need some numbers. And the first number is going to be 1, 2, 3, then tab 177, tab 184, tab 82, and at this stage I'm going to stop the video and get all of our numbers in here, which is also called our data. So here we go. Okay, so you should now have all of those numbers in like that, and then we're just going to add another total at the end here. Make sure it's got a capital T, and also we're going to have a total in the column down here. Oh dear. Now across the top here, I want you guys to add a top and a bottom border. So top and bottom border like so, and then we will have it along the right hand side for down here. Now there's another way we can do this. We can use the draw border. So this time we're going to draw the border, and all I need to do now is I drag down here, got a pencil, and that draws the border in like that. Okay, I'm going to push escape on my keyboard to get rid of that pencil, because down the bottom here I want to add a double bottom border. So this is going to be double bottom, and then the same on the right hand side here. We may not have the option, so what we can do in this one here is we will go right down the bottom where it says more borders, and on our right hand side, yes, we've already got the top border like that, so the right hand side we want to click that, and we're going to check it as double. Oops, that didn't work. I'll try that. There we go. And then we're going to go OK, so that we end up with that sort of concept like that. Okay, so that's good. Now we get into learning. Actually, we've got one more thing here to fix up. What we need to do here is we need to have a main title at the top. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to get you to select, we'll go Control Home. Actually, we're over here. We need to go Control Home to get us into cell A1. And then I want you to select all the cells across the top using a keyboard. And then this option here where we've got Merge and Center is what we need to click. So we're going to click on that, and what that's done is actually made all of those cells into one cell. And now I want you to type a label in there called monthly fruit sales, and then we're going to push enter, and then I'm going to go back because I want it to be bold, and we're going to make it a little bit larger, so we'll make it up to 14 size, and that's looking good. Okay, now in column H4, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding all of these numbers along here to give us a total. Okay, so remember a formula needs to be equals. So we can type in B4 plus C4 plus D4, etc. And that's good, and that's going to give us the correct answer. But and it's still possible to do because we've got 6 values we need to add up there. But if we had 60 or even 600 values, we would be typing this for a very long time. So there's easier ways to do it. What we're going to do now is we're going to go and we're going to use what is called a function. Okay, it is called the sum function. So it's going to be sum, and what sum does is it adds up a whole lot of numbers. Okay, so we're going to use an open bracket, and what we can do is we can go B4 2, in other words, use that double colon, and then we're going up to G4. So if I go G4 and then I use a round bracket at the end, that has given us a total. And when I click up here, you will see now that all of that is now selected, and it is, I'll just go, you can see it goes from B4 to G4, and that colon there, the double colon there, means 2, and the sum means it's going to add them all, and then we've got the brackets, and then B4 to G4. Okay, so I want you guys to, whoops, okay, right, so you need to do the same there for all of these. So we're going to go sum, and then this is B5 to G5. Okay, and then we keep going down, equals sum, what is it, B6 to G6. Okay, equals sum B7 to G7, and equals sum B8 to G8. Oops, 8. Okay, and that's given us all the answers. Right, we could do the same here to add up all of these numbers along here. And so if we go equals sum, and what do we got? B4 to B8. And that will give us all of those numbers added up. Okay, you can see how it's adding up all of those numbers. Right, now, to get out of it when it does something like that, just push the escape button. Okay, now we can type in equals sum and do it all the way along here, but there is an easier way, and we can do it the same way we did it with these months up the top here, is if we just use autofill, we can drag along to there, and it gives us, automatically puts in those formulas for us. Okay, it just automatically does it. It's excellent. Right, so once you've done that, because these are formulas and they're all totals, we're going to select them all. You see the shortcut I used? And we're going to make them bold, and we're going to do the same for here and make it bold. And you know what, we should also put some shading on there just to indicate it a little bit easier, make the presentation better, so that looks good. And then what we're going to do is we are going to now total this. So we're going to use this for totaling all of that, and then we're going to total all of that, and those two numbers should be the same. So to do that, we'll just write total here, and then we're going to put equals sum, and this is going to be from H. Actually, there's another way we can do it. Rather than writing these addresses in, we can just select it like that, okay, using the mouse, and finish it off with the round bracket, and that gives us that. Now that value there should be the same as this value along here. So this is going to be called our checksum, and this will check that everything we have got is correct. We'll need to make this a bit wider, and that will be equal to sum, and select all of those, push enter, and you can see those two values are the same. So what I need to do is we're going to use the format painter, and that will put the grey in there as well as the bold into there, and that's good. And while we're doing that, we'll also use the format painter. So if we click on here, click on the format painter, and then we'll paint those two, and that will give them the same format. Okay, that's good. Now, of course, the brilliant thing about Excel is if we were to change a number here, I'm going to put it a ridiculous number, then all of these values should change. And there we go. Okay, so that's the benefit of using a computer. We can change our data, which is up here, and that will change all our totals, and it will change our grand totals. Actually, we should change that to grand total. That's good, and we'll just double click that one to make it the right width, and that's looking good. Okay, right, now we're going to now move on to a concept of making charts. Now, when we make a chart, what we need to do is we need to have data, and this is the data. We've got data here. So it's very simple to make a chart. And if you could select, we'll use our keyboard, what we're doing is we're selecting the months, we're selecting the product, which is apples, and we're selecting this information, this data here, but we're not selecting the total. And then it's very simple, we just go insert, and we've got all different types of charts here. Now the trick here is to select the correct type of chart that we want, that's going to display this data in a meaningful way. And probably the easiest way is to go recommended charts. So we're going to click on recommended chart, and they've got a number of options down here, and what we'll do is we'll just choose this first option, which is a bar chart, and we'll just simply go OK, and very quickly Excel produces this this chart of data showing a title here. It's got our months along here, and it's got our data here, which for January was 123, and that is just at the 100, just over the 120 mark there. Okay, so I'm just going to resize. Whoops, I made a mistake. Control Z. I'm going to grab the corner. Oh, it's not doing that. Control Z. Probably best if we get it down the bottom and resize it here. And then I'm going to put that onto the right hand side, and there's our chart. Now apples, January, February, March, it doesn't really help us too much. We just need to make an alteration to this title. So clicking in there, I'm going to say apple sales by month. Okay, and that means a little bit more. It's more informative to the user. Okay, and the great thing about these charts is that if we were to change this data here from 82 to, let's say, 182, you will see down here, once I click out of that cell, that the chart changes down here. And then let's say we had a bad month in May, and it wasn't 73. There's only 23. You can see how the May value has dropped down there. Okay, so that's the great thing. And there, we'll make now another chart, and this time I'm going to select January fruit sales for all of our fruits down there, and we're going to show this by proportion. So we're going to use a different type of chart here. I'm not going to go straight to the recommended charts. I'm going to click on our pie chart, and we can have a 2D pie, and it gives us a preview down there. Or we can go 3D. Well, 3D looks pretty good, so we'll choose a 3D chart, and I'm just going to resize that and put it down the bottom. Actually, we'll put it underneath our other chart here. And whoops, I want to click out of that. We're going to go January fruit sales, And that's a good thing because it can show the proportions of each of our fruit. And there's our legend down the bottom, so we can see that the bananas is the yellow one, and you can tell by colours there. Okay, and once again, if we were to change the values, so let's go 174 there, and we didn't sell very many nectarines, so we'll increase that up to 60, and tab to move off it, and you can see that it's changing the proportions down there, and it's also changing them on these here. Okay, so there we go, you guys. We'll leave the video at that. You've learnt about autofill, being able to automatically put the data in for those months, as well as the formulas in for these totals here and along here. We've learned how to do charts. We've learned how to merge all of the cells together and center them. And I think that's it. So we've done well with this video, and if you guys could hand that in, make sure that your data is the same as what I have changed mine to, and so that your charts should be looking like what I've got mine there. And your totals will have also changed, so the grand total should now be 2779. And yeah, if you guys could get that handed in, and we'll see you guys in the next video.